And we're back to finish off Uncharted Drake's Fortune to kick off this episode. When I left off in the last episode, I was at chapter 16, the Treasure Vault. Heading further into the tunnel leads to this huge cavern. There are a few Roman numerals marked on the floor with an arrow pointing in one direction, in the corner of Drake's map are the numerals 2, 5 and 7. But first I walk past the 2 and go up some stairs to find my 54th treasure, a silver cup and cover. Following the 2 and 2 5s has me climbing up to a water wheel. I get it moving, which also gets other things near moving too. First I climb up a chain it moved nearby, then dodge a swinging cage filled with fire and jump across to the bridge where Nate tries calling Sully, but it can't reach him. I go up the stairs for some more swinging flames, but first jump across to the other side to pick up a jewelled silver brooch. This also gets me the Crack Fortune Hunter medal for getting 55 treasures. Then when I try jumping back, Nate just slides along the edge and falls to his death. Then I get impatient and walk into the first flame. So impatient I was still holding forward on the stick and lasted less than 2 seconds after respawning. Next time I make it back and jump across to the next bridge, continue along and up some stairs and jumping across to another. Dodge some more swinging cages until Nate steps off to the side to wave at Elena. It crumbles underneath him and he lands on another bridge. Dodge a couple more flames until I reach a lift that drops Nate lower and raises the bars on a window, so I climb through it. I go left and climb another chain to reach another lift that falls as Nate stands on it. This opens a big gate so Elena can rejoin me. A drawbridge also lowers, which I cross. A little further there's an explosion. It's Eddie and one of his pirates bragging about how he's going to get the gold first. He then sets the rest of his pirates on me. I get distracted punching one and don't notice I'm being shot to death until I'm actually dead. Once they're all dead, Nate spots a ladder mechanism, so I jump around the outside, take another grenade launcher man, dropkick a guy hiding behind the stairs, and once I'm up those stairs, lower the ladder so Elena can catch up. It also lowers a second ladder so we can both climb higher. As soon as I reach the top of the next ladder, I'm being shot at. I take out 2 of them, but the third finishes me as I'm reloading my grenade launcher. I get them all next time, get stuck on a ladder trying to get up these stairs, take out some more pirates at the top of the stairs, jump off to the side to pick up a gold snuff box, and jump to my death. Once I'm back at the top of those stairs and kill the pirates again, I go down some stairs only to go up some more into a cutscene.
There's nothing here.
This is getting so old.
Nate?
It's Drake. He never found it. He just died here. So much for greatness. Wasted his life. For nothing.
They decide to get moving while gunshots and panicked screams can be heard in the distance. This begins chapter 17, the heart of the vault. I run around picking up ammo, don't notice a hole, and gently jog into it and die. Nate sees some machinery higher up and gives Elena a boost to a ladder to see if she can use it to get him up. She sees a rope Nate can use to get up and a tunnel they can use to get out. Eddie and one pirate catch up and are shitting themselves. The noises and screams can still be heard as the last pirate backs too close to a hole and gets dragged down by some strange zombie creature. More then climb up and surround Nate and Eddie. Now when flying them, don't run up swinging your fist because you'll lose. You have to run around, avoid them and the holes and keep shooting. That's why the ground is littered with ammo. Gotta say, when I first watched Chip Cheeseman's Let's Play of this game 10 years ago, I was not expecting anything like this. I know these games are heavily Indiana Jones inspired, but something this out of the ordinary never crossed my mind. While this is going on, Nate's yelling to Elena to lower the rope, but the machine's rusted over and she's struggling with it. After a while, Eddie gets cocky and starts mocking them, only for one to grab him. Nate tries to help, but Eddie's neck gets bit open and he's dragged down to his death. Now I have to fight them alone and I'm killed in seconds by a deadly back scratch. Right after loading, I get the 50 kills Moss 12 medal and trophy. Elena finally gets the rope moving so Nate can climb up and Elena can swing him over to her. Not safe yet and they both have to run through another tunnel while I shoot at zombies behind me. They reach a door that Nate seals shut and manages to keep them out. This room turns out to have been built by the same Germans whose U-boat we found back at the beginning. There's also some notes showing that the statue was beneath the monastery all along. Elena finds a lift that should take them to the surface, but there's no power. Nate sees the generator room on the map and Elena smashes the window open so Nate can climb out and get there. He has to leave Elena alone though since she can't make the jump. Chapter 18, The Bunker. I have a long and uneventful climb across many pipes to the other end of this giant room. I can't imagine how it feels sliding down all those rusted metal pipes using your hands. Once I reach the other side, I jump over a broken walkway and head into the dark corridors. Sully tries calling Nate, but the signal still isn't good enough. I find another room in a terrible state, and through that is more corridors filled with the zombies. There are a lot of turns and forks in this maze of corridors, and many more of them waiting to ambush me. At a dead end, and not far off from the beginning, is a gold monkey figurine. I reach the generator room and turn a huge crank. That's the power back on, but an alarm goes off, starting chapter 19, Unwelcome Guests. We get flooded with zombies and I have to go into a side room and fight my way to a switch. Pulling that opens a door on the opposite end. The switch here opens up the way back out. Nate shuts the door behind him and realises that all the bodies later in this place were deaths caused by them. Returning to the large room from before, there's now a projector running.
Is near. The devils hunt for me in the darkness. The gold of El Dorado bears a terrible curse. The Spaniards have unleashed hell, become as demons. My men have all been murdered, leaving the task to me alone. No ship will depart this island. I destroyed them all and drowned the cursed city. A thing of such great evil must never leave these shores. In my final hour, I commend my soul to God. May He have mercy on this unholy place. Francis Drake.
Don't get much time to take that in before more catch up to me. Once they're dead, I open the door I came through the first time I got here and go through the newly opened door leading to a room facing opposite from where I left Elena. Turns out Roman and Navarro have already caught up and have her. They also had the map that points directly to El Dorado. They're taking Elena hostage too to keep Nate and Sully from following them. They then leave there. Nate then hears some of their men heading towards him. Those two I take out with the grenade. I then head down the stairs they came up and take out some more. There's also more descendants, that's their names, hanging around and they'll take out some of them for me. During this I get the 30 kills MP40 medal and trophy. This room leads outside where there's both a dude with a laser sight and a couple descendants. Once they're all dead, I climb a few crates to find a golden sea dragon pendant. I've made it back around the other side where a couple more descendants tried to kill me, and after them is a doorway leading to a ladder that takes me back outside and into chapter 20, Race to the Rescue. Nate's radio can finally reach Sully, who's under attack outside the church, but first gotta pick up this gold ingot. I head forward which puts me back at the monastery. It seems like it'd be no problem at first, but then it turns out there's a lot of grenade and laser sight men. Then when it seems like you're done and the music dies down, some more come out. I get chipped away by grenade explosions and then lose a fist fight. Thankfully it checkpoints me at the second wave, but I still get killed by the same guy twice. Once they're all dealt with, Nate fills Sully in on what he knows and they head into the church. I forget where the church is for a bit and try fighting my way into the library. I eventually sort myself out and as you would expect, more of Navarro's men are hanging around. Layout of this room is the same as before, so... Think you've dealt with everyone, but more coming through the door you entered from and I get sniped while punching a man. Once I dealt with them all, I head over to the altar and Nate and Sully push it forward to reveal the hidden passage. We drop in to start chapter 21, Golden Bones. Now we have more catacombs to make my way through. A couple rooms in, off to the side I find a golden skull rosary, getting me the Master Fortune Hunter trophy medal for getting 60 out of 60. Of course that strange relic adds one to the counter but isn't actually one of the 60, so I'm still missing one more. Said final treasure is hidden behind a pillar in the very next room. It's a sapphire and silver mask, getting me the Master Thief Collection trophy for picking up every treasure in the game. I then go down the stairs.
Oh man.
You two should realize by now that I plan for every contingency. Now drop your weapons. Down there. No heroics, please. Or I will kill her. Good. Now, if you'll just hang tight, we'll be with you in a moment. It's magnificent. The craftsmanship. I've never seen anything like it before.
That is only a shell. The real treasure of El Dorado lies inside. Open it! Adios, Jefe.
Surprise, Navarro is the main villain and not a secondary villain, and I didn't care. Neither him or Roman are interesting, and after watching the Let's Play of this game, I completely forgot about this villain swap twist until I rewatched it. While Nate and Navarro have a little shout at each other and El Dorado is being picked up by helicopter, more descendants climb down from above and swarm Navarro's men. Navarro runs off with Elena, and Nate and Sully take out the men holding them at gunpoint. Sully will cover Nate while he tries to stop them taking off with the statue. Just run and gun through the descendants and charge up the stairs. I get a bit cocky though, just charging through everyone, but one guy comes around the corner and puts me down. Don't jump into that bit of water in front of the starting point either, because a descendant will pop up and drag you under. I make it to the top and jump onto the net, taking the helicopter ride. One guard sees Nate and radios Navarro. Another guy tries to shoot Nate down, but Elena kicks him out of the helicopter. The guy still shooting while falling, taking out the pilot and leading to a crash landing on a boat. Elena is unconscious, but Navarro is fine enough to come out and fight. Final boss, chapter 22, Showdown. It's the worst chapter in the game. Navarro is backed up by some more men I have to take out first because I can't even damage him. Navarro also kills me in one shot. If I'm not behind cover when he decides he wants to shoot, I'm fucking dead. He does have a pattern though. He'll fire 3 shots in succession, then pause a second before firing a 4th, then he takes a break. Once his backup is killed, Navarro runs off to the next section. This one is slightly harder because there are more men and my cover is destructible, so I'm also on a time limit. I get killed. On my second try of this phase, I get the 50 kills M4 medal and trophy, but I lose all my cover and die again. Quite a few times. During one of my many retries, I get the 50 kills SAS 12 medal. Navarro runs off yet again, as I follow an explosion blows a QTE on top of me and kills me for not reacting in a tenth of a microsecond. I'm so glad there was a checkpoint. Navarro then runs up to the helipad. Nate is distracted on seeing Elena, so Navarro can blow up a barrel next to him, making him lose his gun. I now have to move between cover to get close to him and time it so he doesn't shoot me. This time he shoots twice before pausing. I make it over to him and punch him for a series of QTEs to punch him some more and knock his gun out of his hand. Navarro fights back and runs for his gun. I chase him but he kills me. So, having not watched this fight in a few years, I assume running for him was not the correct choice, so I spend nearly 5 minutes getting killed trying anything else. And then I try it again and do one more QTE to finish him. This gets the Chartered Easy and Chartered Normal trophies and medals while Nate checks up on Elena. Elena points out that Navarro is getting up, so Nate pushes the helicopter into the ocean. The attached rope wraps around Navarro's leg and drags him and El Dorado to the bottom of the ocean.
Quite a day.
Yeah, save the world, triumph over evil. Pretty typical.
Really?
It's a shame we're leaving empty-handed, though.
Oh, well, you know, I did manage to save one small thing. Here, I thought you might miss this.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You two got a funny idea of romantic.
Sully! Wow, you look like hell.
You should see the other guys. Got us a boat.
We already have a boat.
Yeah, big boat.
I like this one better.
Sully, you beautiful son of a bitch!
Borrowed it off a couple of pirates who were too dead to cash.
Sorry you didn't get your story.
No, that's alright. There'll be other stories. You still owe me one.
I'm good for it.
So, what about the Descendants? Are they all dead, or are some poor bastards a couple of years from now going to discover this place and get ripped to shreds too? Well, that's the main game and what I'll be basing the ranking on. But I'm far from done. There's still a lot of trophies to get. I've unlocked a chapter select, and first thing I do is put myself right back at that final boss. Now I know what to do, it takes a couple of tries and reloading the save, but I do the entire chapter in one long go without dying for the YOLO Fortunately trophy. Now for higher difficulty runs. One needs to be unlocked first, so the highest I can go is Crushing right now. Higher difficulty doesn't mean different enemy patterns, just stronger and smarter enemies, and I've jumped up a few levels from normal. Chapter 1 I get done on my first try. I also have a mess around with the skins I unlocked from getting medals, starting with Elena. Every character in the game can have their model replace Nate's. Gameplay only, not in cutscenes. Apart from that, Chapter 2 is the same since there are no enemies. During Chapter 3 I get the trophy Cosplay for killing an enemy while using the skin of another character. I die a lot during the escape segment, and that part takes me 13 minutes altogether. I die a lot in Chapter 4, but I do get the Hangman Medal and trophy for killing 10 enemies while hanging from a ledge, along with the 250 headshots trophy 5 minutes later. A couple of minutes after that I get the 30 kills MKNDI Medal and trophy for killing 30 enemies with grenades. Half an hour later I get the Triple Dynamite Medal and trophy for killing 3 enemies with a single explosion. 40 minutes later in the last section of this chapter I get the 30 kills M79 Medal and trophy just as I get killed for the millionth time. Then right after respawning I get the Dynamite Master Medal and trophy for killing 3 enemies with a single explosion 5 times. Altogether it takes me over an hour and 40 minutes to get through Chapter 4. Not far into Chapter 5 I get the 50 kills Micro 9mm Medal and trophy. In comparison to Chapter 4, Chapter 5 only took half an hour, as did Chapter 6. Chapter 7 took less than 10 minutes but there were a lot of deaths in that. 50 minutes together for Chapters 8 and 9. Chapter 10 took only 8 minutes, and just over 25 for Chapter 11 and 12 together. During Chapter 13 I get the 30 kills Dragon Sniper Medal and trophy. This chapter took over 55 minutes altogether. During Chapter 14 I get the 50 kills 92FS 9mm Medal and trophy. This chapter only took just over 10 minutes. In Chapter 15 I get the Stealth Attacker Medal and trophy for killing 20 enemies with melee attacks from behind. This chapter took 40 minutes thanks to me getting stuck dying a lot in this area. Chapters 16 and 17 went much simpler compared to 15. After I ran out of other characters to play as, I went to other Nate skins. This is his original colour scheme in the game's beta. During Chapter 18 I get the trophy Supernatural Born Killers for killing 5 Descendants with the Dragon Sniper. This chapter takes me 30 minutes to get through. Chapter 20 took 20 minutes. Chapter 21 I did with no deaths this time. For Chapter 22 I put Nate back in the diving suit and beat it in a little over 15 minutes. I get the trophies and medals Chartered Hard and Chartered Crushing. This difficulty was hard and sometimes got a little unfun, but it's nothing compared to what I've just unlocked. Brutal difficulty. Everything I said about enemy AI and damage and crushing is raised up to unbearable levels. Chapters 1 and 2 still aren't an issue. During these I have Nate in a shirt and black sleeves and a Naughty Dog logo on the front. The escape segment of Chapter 3 took me 25 minutes to get through. During Chapter 4 I get the Grenade Hangman Medal and trophy for killing 10 enemies with grenades while hanging on a ledge. 2.5 hours into my attempts at Chapter 4 I earned the Master Ninja trophy by stealth killing 50 enemies at the same time I die, so the two of us just fall into each other. Right after I enable photo mode to get the trophy Shoot Some B-roll for Elena. Altogether Chapter 4 took me 3.5 hours to get through on this difficulty. 2.5 hours for Chapter 5. That end bit was the biggest problem, coming out of cover to die in seconds. Only an hour and a half for Chapter 6. Many times I didn't even make out that first doorway. Chapter 7 could fuck right off. This one felt luck based. Sometimes your bullets would just take out the enemy first, other times you'd be dead in seconds from respawning. 20 minutes, but since you can die in seconds here, it felt far longer. Chapter 8 took half an hour, while Chapter 9 took 2 hours. Here I also put on the Cartoon Drake skin, which gives him goofy top heavy proportions. Chapter 10 took half an hour, same for Chapter 11. Double Elenas make it through Chapter 12 in only 10 minutes. Another hour and a half for Chapter 13, 40 minutes for Chapter 14, another 40 for Chapter 15, around the same time it took for Crushing, surprisingly. Together, 16, 17, 18 and 19 took only around 14 minutes, but Ascendants are much easier to deal with than the gunmen on this difficulty. Chapter 20 on the other hand took an hour. 21 took a few tries but still not long in comparison. Now the final chapter makes an already bad final boss even worse. Now it feels like every enemy, not just Navarro, can kill me whenever they want. It takes an hour alone to get to the checkpoint. Now this is where things get really bad. Remember the QTE? Well, you have only about a 70% chance of surviving past it. The enemies can fire in the cutscene and kill you before you're even given back control. For a developer who makes games as well made as Naughty Dog, that's unacceptable. Did this not come up while testing, or did they just up the enemy AI and damage and just assume it'll all work out? Because of this, it took me 2.5 hours to do this chapter and get the Chartered Brutal trophy. That was an hour and a half of the QTE fucking me over and killing me out of my control. Imagine the mood that left me in. But I'm still not done, I'm missing a few trophies. I went back to chapter 1, weakened an enemy with gunfire so that I killed him with 1 punch, then reloaded until I killed 10 enemies in a row this way for the Steel Fist Expert trophy and medal. That's almost all medals in the game, but there are still a few extra trophies to get. Now it's time to start a continuous speedrun, see how fast I can get through the entire game. Loading from checkpoints is allowed, which I do when I die. For this, I wear the Donut Drake skin that makes Nate fat. However, the reloading I did when I died prevented me from getting the trophy for doing the entire speedrun like this. During this, I get the final medal, Survivor, and its trophy for killing 75 enemies without dying. These walls can't stop me for clearing chapter 5 in under 10 minutes. Up a short creek without a paddle for clearing chapter 12 in under 5 minutes. A speedy reunion for clearing chapter 16 in under 7 minutes. And finally, Need for Speed for finishing a speedrun in under 2 hours 30 minutes and the Platinum trophy, for which the notification didn't show up for some reason. Then I did another speedrun without reloading in the Donut Drake costume the entire way. For those of you counting, that's 5 playthroughs I've done for these 2 videos. This got me the Fat and the Furious. And finally, I went into rewards and activated one of the tweaks to get the Cheetah trophy, and the game is done. I did also unlock some other things like art galleries. It was so strange playing this game after 10 years of only seeing it in one Let's Play. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There were a few annoying parts, but not enough for it to earn that dreaded "this game aged badly" label I hate. I understand I haven't played the later games myself, but I still think Uncharted Drake's Fortune is worth a play. It still holds up better than a lot of other games from its release period. The story is really enjoyable too, despite the boring villains. Even just experiencing the series for a Let's Play, I managed to get attached to Nate, Elena and Sully years before playing the games myself. I've seen the next 3 main games, and I'm looking forward to trying those out for myself too.